Under old business, Selectmen's calendar, and we've got, Michael had given like a draft through, at least through the summertime and stuff as far as what we've got for our meetings.
Yeah, we changed the Pocket Park, the Cultural Council Committee meeting to the next meeting.
Okay.
We had a busy schedule tonight, plus the Pocket Park isn't going to be ready for the ribbon cutting until July now.
Okay.
Because they want to take some time for the seed to
take place, yeah.
They do expect to have most of the work done by the 10th, which is the end of the week. So,
Yep.
So they're making pretty good progress. I know Public Works has been a big help to them, and over there they've probably done yeoman's work.
Looks nice, Ken. It really does.
Pete got the blocks, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really did. So again, the question I guess we've got is whether we meet on July 5th or not, and stuff like that. So that's the big dilemma of the evening here for meetings and stuff. So I don't know what people's thoughts.
Are you going to be in New York on the 6th or something?
I'll be in New York on the 6th, but I was planning to go the morning of the 6th. So I can be here for the 5th. If we'd rather meet the following week or a different week, that's fine as well. But
What day of the week is the 5th?
It's Tuesday. After the 4th, so. Yep.
I won't be here, and Chris is just coming back
Okay.
from vacation.
Okay.
we could meet the 12th instead.
The following week is bad for you, though, Mark.
Yeah, I can't meet on the 12th. Yeah.
We just have to skip July 5th.
Yeah. So whatever.
Very quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine much is going on. It's fine with me if we want to skip that meeting, and, you know.
Bill? Yeah, is that okay? Does that work for you?
Okay, good. There we go. Well, that settles it then. That's all we had to do was.
To accommodate Mr. Massaro.
Massaro, we will not meet during the summer. We'll see you in September, Bill.
All in favor?
Sounds like a song title.
I know. Yeah. See you in September, yeah. All right, so that's good. All right, that works out fine.
And if we were to get jammed up, we could probably add one the 26th if we end up.
Yeah, if something
If the
comes up.
19th is going to be a 5-hour meeting, we can do that instead.
Okay,
So.
that's fine with me too. Okay, good. Guess next what we've got is, we've got the minutes from the May 17th meeting minutes. I don't know if anyone had any edits, thoughts on that?
No, I didn't get a chance to look at them.
Okay. Pete?
I don't think I had any
I
issues.
can look at them now.
Okay.
Right here.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there, I think there were,
I will read them
read that,
before.
minute? Okay, before we go.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so we'll just take a vote on that later on, yeah. We'll table that and we'll do that at the end of the night. Quickly, good. Excellent, good. All right, new business. Superintendent Feeney recommends the selectmen vote to award the Bituminous Patch Bid to T.L. Edwards, the low bidder.
So moved.
Oh, yes, yep,
I'll second.
yeah.
How'd the price compare to the current year on that, Ken?
It's down.
It's down.
That was pretty competitive, yeah, that was pretty good.
So this is $56 a ton, yep, for T.L. Edwards, and then LaRusso will be the alternate, right, at $60 a ton, the second.
When we do small loads, patch loads, things like that, the
Yeah.
Russo's much, much closer.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
talking, TL Edwards is down in Avon,
Yeah.
Russo's in Knoll.
Oh, big difference, yeah, so you want to use that for the small loads, yeah.
You gotta, is it low bid or not low bid, it's just,
Yeah.
I think we'll just play with it.
Okay,
Do you have a schedule for Green Street for the final paving on
Yep, we
Green
have
Street?
we just had Aggregate Industries, which is low bid from last year, in, and they went over the road, they went over North Meadows Road. Aggregate came in and they went over North Meadows Road and Green Street, take a look at them, to plan them. We're planning them for July, and hopefully that comes true. And once the school buses are gone, and that'll work out fine for us, yeah.
And those are both going to be funded from Chapter 90 funds?
Chapter 90, yes.
okay, good, excellent.
Ken, could you, someone came to see me at my office hours last week to ask, and one of the things they asked about were the telephone poles in the sidewalk on Green Street. Could you maybe talk about that?
Yeah, we thought, I think that there's a little misunderstanding of the telephone poles on Green Street is that Some people think it's 48 inches for handicap, but it's not. It's 39 inches, so the poles are 39 inches.
So it's okay
They
the
look a
way it
little
is?
awkward. I think one of them's a little tighter than 39, but we can, we'll figure that out. We're going down there. We've got a tree I think we're going to take down and plant a new one. And we've got touch-up here and there with the abutters. So we'll be contacting the abutters again and go making sure before we leave everything's complete and to their satisfaction. They're very happy right now on the project, but you are right about the poles, yeah. Some of them look a little awkward, but they are 39 inches.
Yeah, no, I haven't noticed it, but someone just mentioned it to me. And then maybe while you're updating us on things, how about the sidewalk on Metacomet and the sidewalk on Dale
I
Street?
walk on Metacomet. When school gets out, we do have a plan for that. We've already had that drawn up. We know where we are, the layout, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's a pretty straightforward project.
Okay. And the sidewalk on Dale Street, are we going to connect that little piece or not?
That's a tough one. There's a lot of trees that got to come out of there, or you can make it a real expensive project. It'd be a $500,000 sidewalk if you relocate the road. So, I mean, you can't relocate the road. The trees got to come down, and I'd have to establish whether they're private trees or town trees.
Yeah, okay, so we don't have a solution on that one yet then. And then, as long as we're talking about that area, someone had reached out to me and told me that the entrance from Rockwood, a little further down Dale Street, was bad. And I went down, and sure enough, it was bad. And I guess, because when you pull out, you can't see to the left.
I did the same thing, and as you're coming up Dale Street from 27, you don't
can't
even see there's
Rockwood.
a street there.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
I guess my question is, should that have been addressed during the planning board permitting of it, or?
They would have had to meet the planning board requirements for site distance, and then, assuming that they met them on paper, it was then up to the oversight when it was being constructed to ensure that they complied. And I don't know who.
Because
I
there's a
assume that's-
little hill with trees.
Yeah, the layout there is very tight. The lady actually owns those trees along there, so if you got into the slope anymore, the trees would be coming down. The lady that owns the house there now has asked Ed Hinckley to take the trees down, but Ed has said that he doesn't own the trees. The town does not own the trees, so therefore she could take the trees down if she wants to. That would have helped, because we could have sloped back when the trees came down. And there is a 30-mile-an-hour sight distance down there, which is the speed for Dale Street. I talked to a young lady that had just moved in there, and she said, well, they're going faster than that. And I told her that's a police matter. If they're exceeding the speed limit, then...
But even going 30, I mean, I tried it going 30, coming around. I mean, you can't see the street is there. You're just kind of coming up.
Right, but I'm talking about coming out of Rockwood. Come out of Rockwood, and when you're looking, it's a 30-mile-an-hour sight distance.
Right. But
Okay.
I think their concern is when they're walking, and that's what I understand. The people are walking, kind of coming out of Rockwood to walk across to the cemetery, or otherwise, the cars that are coming down on that side can't see the kids or the people crossing. I got the same email.
I did too,
Yeah.
and the chief's been talking to him too, so I
Yeah.
think we've all been talking to him.
Yeah, and I think
Oh,
that
okay.
was the concern. So the issue on the trees is the person who owns the trees would like them taken down,
They would like to have them taken down, yes.
and why can't we take them down?
It's on their property.
private property.
Private property.
Right, but the owner wants them taken down.
Yeah, we can't.
We can't.
We're not allowed to do it,
No, do that.
Right.
even
And
for
it
a
depends on the
public safety issue?
Yeah, or just a policy, yeah, we'll be taking down everyone's trees, I think that's.
Not only that, the first time you do it, it'll be like a snowball effect.
Okay.
There is some discussion of whether there's going to be additional development in that area that may solve the problem. Would that
Right.
solve that area? Or is that the area where they're talking about additional?
Yeah, there's actually a
Some
strip
negotiation
between
going
that
on.
and this woman's property, between the subdivision and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my tequila.
So I think if you get the additional, is this the property that there was been some discussion?
Yeah, well, Mr. Burley owns the back lots in back of that house.
right.
He bought it. I'm not too sure if he has any agreement with her to buy her house. All right, I don't know that. I can't say that. I know he owns the backyard.
Yeah. So that might
That might
solve
solve the
itself
problem.
fairly
Right.
soon.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's non-immediate thing.
No.
It's further up at the intersection of Charlesdale. Bob Borelli was looking at buying the house on the corner of Charlesdale.
Yeah,
And I mentioned those trees to try and get the sidewalk in.
yeah,
And he said, if I buy the house, if I get the house, I will take the trees down for you.
yeah.
Well, those are the trees that are preventing the sidewalk.
Right. So I think that deal has fallen through because I think the gentleman is going to start developing that house. So
How much would it cost to take those trees down? Like if she were to have, how much would the homeowner be out to take them down?
homeowner?
Yeah.
If the homeowner had to take those down, probably $6 to $8 grand.
Yeah, it's big money.
How many people live on Rockwood Street?
Pardon me?
How many people live on Rockwood Street?
Is it 4 houses?
No, it's more than that. It's on both sides, isn't it?
At least 6 or 7.
Because he bought some extra land.
Yeah. Sounds like they should get together.
Well,
and
it
talk
seems
to
like
lighting.
if, yeah, it would seem like if the people on Rockwood Street are concerned about the safety and they want the trees to go down, the woman's willing to have the trees to go down.
They could chip in.
Seems like they could all chip in and take the trees down.
Now, they still have to have the agreement, well, if she wants them down, though, she.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is, I mean, the
Yeah, just-
homeowner wants them down,
Yeah.
and they want them down, 8,000 divided by 6 probably is a reasonable amount if that's what they want to have happen.
Yeah.
Then once they were down, is there anything else that would have to be done, or would that be enough?
Well, then you would just dress the slope and loam and seed, that's all.
Right.
So the other thing on Rockwood was, I drove in and turned around at the end, and there is the most incredible slide into a swimming pool back there. It's as tall as the house.
That was an issue.
We're well aware of it.
That was an issue that was resolved at the state level.
Oh,
Ken, I know we were waiting until school got out to the gas company to replace the gas main on South Street between Pound and Phillip. Are they still, have you heard anything on that, or have they been in touch with you?
They haven't been in touch with me, but they have they have a street opening permit.
They do?
Okay.
Good.
That's good. So they will. Okay. Yes, yes, Mr. Massaro. Oh,
Ken, I've been asked by several of the neighbors on Long Meadow and on Evergreen about the pending demolition of the old water tower. And they're concerned about, is it going to be taken down with explosives, or is it going to be cut down or whatever? So, I mean,
We're all pushing
Well, this
over.
will be
We're all
fun.
going to get out there, we're just going to push, Bill.
well, we could have sandblasted it one more time and it would have fallen over by itself, but
You heard how they took down the Manor Inn with the bulldozer?
yeah. So I said I would at least ask the question. So
question.
So if it's, I mean, I assume whatever it is, or whatever method it is, there'll be adequate notice to the abutters and everything, so, but I just thought I would raise the question.
That's a good question.
4th of July, we're going to blow it up.
Yeah. that's pretty
But no, we're going to, the conditions in the specs for the water tower,
Yeah,
the new water tower has to be full,
right.
operational.
Yep.
The old water tower then can be taken apart. The schedule right now has been pushed back to July for the new water tower.
Yep.
So you won't see probably any activity, but no, they won't. They'll just take it, they saw it apart and take it down piece by piece. and
Oh,
just,
it's not very dramatic, that.
it's nothing spectacular.
Less exciting.
So they'll
Very
cut it
exciting.
up with blow torches or whatever.
Yeah, it's I guess it's a huge machine that just comes in and basically, it just takes care of business. Yeah, and I think what they do is they collapse it in on itself, keep pushing in on itself. They cut it and push back in on itself.
We
And it
have
just-
had several requests of people who would like to know exactly when that will start because they've lived in the shadow of it for so long. They'd like to be out there when the sun shines.
I'd like to know the schedule too.
It's been changed so many times at this point.
I know. Just let me know so I can let them know.
Yeah.
Are you going to sell pieces of it?
Yeah, we could do that. We could help pay for the project. Maybe that might be what we do.
Ken, I had one more question, and it had to do with, there was an HNTB document about North Street in our materials this week, and And what I wanted to ask you about was that HNTB seems to say that Medfield hasn't been doing anything about the North Street project starting in 2009 and only restarted it in 2016. Have we been, did we take it offline for like 6+ years?
No, what we did is the original project was designed to meet footprint road project. That's what category District 3 put it into. Unfortunately, the state didn't fund footprint road projects. So we designed it around that. So what we're doing now is redesigning. We have a lot of work done on it, but we still have to bring it up to the current standards so that we can get it funded by the state 100%. And the project's worth $2.3 million. So that's 100% state funds, and it's scheduled to be built in 2019. That's when they told us that they wanted this thing done. So that's where we're at. There is a standard joke around in the Mass Highway is that they always say that, you know, it's a 5-year TIP program. That's what they show is always a 5-year, that all this construction is going to happen in 5, but it happens in 10. Okay, so I think that's what what we did. We've come off the supplemental TIP and not even been on the major TIP, the 5-year, and we've come from the supplemental because all these other projects fall off because they haven't got easements, they haven't got these things, and we've gone to the front of the line real quick on a lot of projects. South Street was one of them, and downtown came very quick. We got that one very quick. It depends upon, are you ready? Do you have your plans?
Yep.
You ready to go? You got all your easements? All drainage is all set, especially drainage easement. Very important last town meeting on Adams Street.
Yep.
We got that drainage easement.
Yep.
Very important for that sidewalk in the future going down Adams Street. And so it will enable us to put drainage in before we put the sidewalk in.
Yeah.
Because whenever you put vertical berm in, you got to have drainage. So that was a very important easement. The lady was very nice to us, very kind to us, and giving us that easement. So it was very nice of her. But anyway, that's where we're at on a bunch of these things. But 2019 for North Street, and actually I'm looking for authorization from you guys tonight to sign the HNTB proposal. Mike, I believe you read it, and I'm hoping that it's okay with you.
The other thing, Ken, I believe you were able to negotiate with District 5 to include the culvert at the pond as part of the project. Is that correct?
The culvert at the pond, yeah.
At Meeting House
Yes.
Pond.
That's another change. That's another change in the design. The culvert that goes from Corning
Yep.
under North Street
Yep.
into the pond has to be redone.
Right.
Okay, so that's going to be part of the project. There'll probably be a storm scepter in there somewhere. It'll be a conservation approval necessary, and but it'll be improvement, permanent improvement to the whole situation there. So,
Ken, why does it have to be redone? The culvert, why does the culvert need to be redone?
it's actually kind of a piecemeal kind of a culvert. It's got a round pipe going into a square culvert, and it's just.
Oh,
And it gets 6,000 to 8,000 cars a day on it, and it's time. In other words, Mass Highway asked HNTB to certify that the culvert is okay, and they wouldn't do it. So I mean, they're not going to do it. So, and I don't blame them. But so anyway, that's going to be replaced. That'll be part of the project, and there's some other little things we have to do. But ADA has changed, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff that has changed. They now design streets from the outside in. Whatever's left over, that's what the cars get.
Yeah.
We're going to have bike lanes on North Street.
Yeah.
Okay, so. But that's where we're at on it. We also got the Phillip Street Bridge, the Wood Bridge.
Yeah.
We'll be coming in for that. We're going to put that out to bid, and that'll be a Chapter 90 project. I believe the cost on that Phillip Street Wood Bridge is about $75,000.
Oh,
But that will be state highway money.
that's pretty good.
Okay.
And that already has the footings in place, right?
That has the
Concrete
footings in
footing.
place. This is just to get a factory-built wood bridge to replace it.
Superstructure, yeah.
Why do we want to do a wood bridge?
Well, it's historic. It's the neighborhood you're in down there and everything. Everything's historic, and these wood bridges are pretty good. They're H20 rated. I mean, so that's heavy vehicles. So it's
Do they last as long?
this one here was actually put together with laminated together, and the newer types now have rods that go right through them to hold them together to give them more strength. So I think we got 15 years out of the existing one, and I think we'll get a lot more out of this one. A lot more.
Is Phillip Street a scenic way?
Yes, it is.
It is. Okay, that would be one thing too. If you were going to change it, it probably would be, you'd have to go through a hearing process with the planning board.
It only
and,
relates to stone walls anyway.
stone walls and trees, I guess.
Well, the trees overlap, it's technically just stone walls.
Okay.
There are stone walls under it.
Under it?
Under the bridge, there are stone retaining walls for the stream that comes locked into the dam.
You're not gonna disrupt those, are
They already are disrupted. They've kind of collapsed, so we're going to have to repair them.
you? More stone walls along the edge of the road that are.
No stone walls around. We're not disturbing any stone walls on the edge of the road under the culvert. It's part of the sluiceway.
They when they put the foundation in, they left the walls there, and they put the concrete foundation in, and then the walls have sort of over time collapsed.
Yeah.
So they have to be cleaned out. So
But
it
the
doesn't dam it
stone
up.
walls don't have any loading bearing whatsoever on the bridge. It's
Right.
we have footings there.
Have the beavers found it yet?
No, not yet.
No, that's what I have. Yeah.
All right, so we still need to take a vote on our bituminous bids there, with T.L. Edwards is the low bidder, and then LaRusso as the alternate. Second on that? Okay.
Second.
Yep, all in favor?
Yep.
Okay. Next up, as Ken had been talking about, is we need to vote to accept HNTB's proposal for the reconstruction of North Street, which is the next phase there, where they're looking at doing all the design work and bringing it up to speed and stuff, so. Do we have a motion
So
on that?
moved.
Pete? Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And next, we've got a vote to authorize the chairman of the board to sign 2 change orders for the Hospital Road, the water main, and the tank projects. Okay. So it looks like we've got a change order on the water main for $51,000 for Oliveria Construction. And then it looks like there's a $34,000 change order on the storage tank.
Right. The Water and Sewer Board met last week and reviewed these with Paul Millett from the engineering consultant, and these are necessary to complete the road work, and they're going to do some paving around the tank.
Yep.
And then the Oliveira, they were very happy. He was a very good contractor, been very patient. He had to deal with CSX Railroad, which was frustrating to all of us, but he was particularly affected by it and was very patient and didn't try to hit us with all kinds of change orders for it. We have not had as much luck with Phoenix Bridge and whatever. They have been missed several deadlines, and the committee has been talking to the consultant about imposition of delay damages, but they won't do anything on that till the project's completed, and this change order is necessary to complete the project. So they have voted to recommend that you sign these both change orders.
So moved then.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Incidentally, they anticipate they may have possibly as much as $150,000 left over at the end of the project,
Excellent.
which sounds like a lot of money, but the original amount was $6 million for the project. So,
Amazing.
and then if there's delay damages, that would add to that amount if they're able to collect delay damages. So,
Mike, where we're talking about the water tower, have you and the fellow who does the...
Dave Maxon?
Dave Maxon.
No, because of these perennial delays, I haven't gotten to him, but I'll get to him on that and see if we get that
So
moving.
that's the RFP for the
Yeah.
antennas, the wireless antennas on top of the water tower.
And there's been some big changes, too. Apparently, cable is losing its customers, and their emphasis now is on internet rather than cable. So it's a whole change in the purpose of the tower. So it'll be interesting to see who actually bids on it.
So next up, we've got a agreement there. Comcast is looking to exercise its option to renew its lease at the town garage site for an additional 5 years.
Yes.
Sure. Yep.
One final question, Ken, just about the railroad tracks on North Street and whatnot. Is there a schedule? I know we talked about
That's hard. We have permission to remove the railroad tracks on Harding Street, but not on Farm Street.
Okay.
The MBTA owns that rail line, and they gave us permission last year to remove the tracks.
Just on Harding.
Just
not
on Harding.
I thought we had permission on both.
No. A farm is more complicated because you've got to put retaining walls and regrading, and
But I thought the MBTA gave us permission.
I don't believe so. My recollection was just for Harding Street.
That's my understanding from Michael.
Yeah,
It's
I'll see if
absolutely
I
just
dig
Harding
out the
Street, yeah.
agreement on that and
Okay.
make sure on that. But yeah,
But is there a schedule for doing that, taking those out?
No, we don't have a schedule, we haven't laid a schedule out for it yet. I believe we have to still make an appointment, call
have to
somebody.
call
from
3 days in advance.
3 days in
get-
advance of doing it.
Do the work and notify
And
them.
we're going to be working down the schools, I believe, next week on the football field.
Oh,
Okay, so we're going to be down there. So,
yeah.
and, we've got some stuff going on. But, yeah, we're working in. When
This summer sometime? I mean,
Oh, yeah, something like that, yeah. We just got to go down and actually plan it because some of these rails are pretty long, so we might have to cut them, them in correctly lengths and stuff like that.
And incidentally, we haven't heard anything yet as to the intention. The railroad said they might try to redo 3 additional grade crossings on the line that runs from Walpole to Framingham. But we haven't heard anything yet as to what their intentions are along those lines.
They're still working on replacing the ties.
They're replacing the ties from Framingham to Mansfield.
It's unbelievable the state's spending so much money on that rail line must be for the Kraft family, I suppose.
Well, it's partially the Kraft family. It's partially this Mass Coastal Railroad that I think is going to start bringing more freight along that line because they're redoing it, I think, all the way down the Cape. This line goes to Mansfield, but then it picks up other lines that go from Mansfield down through Taunton to Forever, New Bedford, and out to the Cape. And I noticed they've been doing work down in those areas too. So I am more concerned for Medfield's sake about freight than I am for passenger rail. I think Walpole and Foxborough are more concerned about passenger because of the grade crossings.
I just hope for the state that there's a logical reason for spending so much on the rail line that doesn't seem to get that much use.
There never seems to be much logic when it comes to the way decisions are made by the MBTA.
The MBTA, when they came out here and talked about running the line out to Medfield from Needham, the man just said, we're never going to do this on our own. We'll only do it if the politicians tell us we have to.
Exactly. That's how decisions are made at the T, unfortunately. So.
Okay. So Comcast is extending, yes, Bill.
The advertised reason for replacing the ties was that the speed of the freight trains now, because of the poor condition of the tracks and the ties, is limited to something like less than 25 miles per hour.
Less than that, I think 10 miles.
Yeah, and they want to speed it up. They want to go through faster, so that's supposedly the reason. At least that's what they're advertising as the reason.
Definitely.
And with the elimination of, my understanding is with the elimination of Beacon Station by BU and Harvard Business School in that area where the old Coca-Cola factory was, the only way to get freight off Cape, New Bedford, and Fall River is this line that goes through Medfield. So that's why I anticipate you're going to get more freight lines.
So Comcast, so they're renewing their 5-year renewal for the period, $26,250 paid annually.
Yeah, this is something Ken was able to negotiate. I don't know, when you go down the town garage, there's a little brick and
A nice
split
green roof.
brick
Yeah.
with a green roof. Comcast pays us $25,000 a year rent for that. What is it? Probably about 1,000 square feet of space at most.
Yeah, but that's a hub.
That's a hub for them. Yes. Yeah. It's got a strange history to it. When cable first started, nobody quite knew what it was, and they were looking for a place to put their
Yeah.
equipment, so they put it in the town hall. We had a vacant water department office in the basement of town hall
Yeah.
back 30 years ago, and I said, okay, if you want to use that, go ahead. I don't think we even charged them for it.
Yeah.
And then eventually, as they grew, and then when we had to renovate the town hall,
Yeah. You find
they had to get out. So they ended up wanting to stay in town, and Ken was able to work that space out with them, and it's turned out to be pretty profitable for the town.
Well, it's a nice location for them. It's lit, secure. There's people around all the time, huh? Quiet for them. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's great.
They visit it daily, so.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Last thing under new business, resident Abby Marble requests consideration talking about a charter review committee. For the,
Yeah, she was in earlier talking about increasing the size of the Board of Selectmen from 3 to 5 members, if you recall that. But
yeah.
I don't know whether
Right. Yeah. Think about that. Licenses and permits. Memo is requesting permission to hold the 37th Annual Medfield Day on September 17th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and they're additionally requesting a common victualler license and permission to put a banner across Main Street August 13th through Medfield Day. I have a motion
So
for
moved.
that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Council on Aging is requesting a wine and malt beverage permit for the annual cookout season, which starts on Wednesdays, starting I guess in July, the month of July through August 10th. Additionally, a one-day permit for August 24th.
I like that it's a cookout season.
I
So
know.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And they're over pretty early though, right, Michael? I think they start at...
yes, they like to come before it gets dark. So I think
Yeah.
I think they start at like around 4:30, 5
Yeah.
o'clock, and they're usually done out by 7. So.
Yeah, okay.
And
so I thought.
they fill up. I think they cut it off at 100, and they've been filling
Yeah,
up.
they had
Lots
to
of
limit
great
the
vodka.
numbers and restrict it to in-town
Yep.
residents.
Yeah. The Medfield Library is requesting permission to hold children and family daytime events in June, July, and August, and the outdoor movies on July 26th and August 9th from 8 to 10 p.m. at the town gazebo.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Memo is requesting Selectmen's permission to use the Dale Street School parking lot and the facility on Discover Medfield History Day, which is coming up on June 18th. The school department has reviewed and has given their approval also for using the Dale Street School.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Selectmen's report. Pete?
Well, I didn't put anything together, so
All right.
I'm not sure that I did anything.
Okay. Michael?
Yeah, just a couple of things to note. Friday night went to the Lowell Mason House
Oh,
Gala
excellent, good.
at the center at Medfield. It was a good time. Tom and Karen Scotty ran that event. It was really well put together. Chief Meany was the MC and auctioneer for the auction events, and we walked away with a few auction items. The Blazing Hearth Pizza was there, catering it. It was really good. And I also wanted to recognize the spring sports teams from Medfield High School who had a great spring, many of which ended yesterday. I was there last Thursday. Girls softball won 3-2 in 8 innings. Walk-off, leave them on the field, win against Dedham, and then won on Friday against Dennis Yarmouth, and then lost to Abington on Monday. And baseball and tennis also all lost yesterday. I didn't hear how the girls lacrosse did today.
They were defeated by Walpole 12-10.
That's disappointing, but a good spring season for all of the teams at Medfield High School, and a good run. So I wanted to mention that, and I think that covers my report.
I'll just do a couple follow-up things just on Medfield History Day, which is coming up on the 18th, my little public service announcement here. So, yeah, it's going to be at the Dale Street School this year. Normally, it's at the Lowell Mason House, but they did have a conflict with Park and Rec this year for using the the parking lot for the same day. So it's just going to be at the Dale Street School this year. Richard Disorgo, of course, will be conducting the tours, and this year's theme is Historic Homes in Medfield. And once again, it's Saturday, June 18th. There are 6 tours during the day. They leave on the hour, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, and 2. So on the hour, tickets are $10 for adults, $7 for seniors and children under 12, and you can buy tickets at Needham Bank if you want. They're one of the sponsors, along with Roberts Mitchell's Funeral Home. So I don't know if they'll have like a little display there. So you can always have so much jokes with a funeral home sponsoring anything. You can have a good time. And also coming up later in June, I think we know up at the State Hospital, is the Medfield on the Charles, the big car show is coming up on Sunday, June 26th from 9 to 4. Hopefully the weather will cooperate, so it'll be a nice day up there. I think I belong to the Lions. I think I'll probably be, I think they've asked us to park cars, so I think I'll be trying to give my shot at that, directing people in, see how that goes.
You park the fancy cars?
Yeah. Probably not, no. Okay, so do we want to, Michael, did you take a look at the minutes?
I did,
Is that fine?
yes.
Okay, all right, that's good.
I would move that we accept the minutes.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Good, all right, took care of that. And I guess informational things?
Sure. Just before we get started, a couple
Yeah.
things I wanted to mention, because we have had a number of inquiries, is when's the restaurant next door opening?
Oh, yeah, it's hopeful.
So it opened last Tuesday, and from what I understand, they've been doing gangbuster business ever since.
No parking out here, Mike. You need more parking for the selectmen's meetings.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to
Good
have
for
our
that
designated
parking
spots
deck.
with like a little sign with our name on it.
Yes, yeah.
So
The
my
oth-
solution is that when the public safety gets built, we move the selectmen meetings down there.
There we go, yeah.
The room's
Yes,
bigger.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
The other thing is that Zebras is changing its name.
yep,
I think it's the something in Grog,
yeah,
Nosh and Grog.
Oh, when is that happening?
I think they're hoping to do the reconstruction work in July, so it would be probably around August, I would change. So, and I think it's going to be a little bit more casual than it has been. It was the intent, so we'll see.
Do you know if our Zebras card points will transfer to the new restaurant? Or do we have to use those
Yeah.
Too
before?
bad.
We have to
he
use
said
those
they-
before they change.
Yes.
Legally, nothing's changed.
Yeah, it's just the name change, so,
Right,
so
same
it should
owners and
work,
everything, yeah.
yeah.
You told me my gift card would still work, so I think you and I are good.
Okay, excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, under informational, actually, I made this suggestion to Cheryl. She came in looking to have their water bill abated, so, which I couldn't do. But she was talking about different projects they had lined up, so I said,
Yeah.
that sounds like it might be an interesting project for the use of some of the downtown money.
Oh, money, yeah.
So I
Let's think
suggested
about
that she write a letter to the board. I said, they don't have, I think it was around 20,000, 21,000 they need for the cost of it. And I said, they don't have that much money this year. I think they'll have 9,500 left, and they haven't decided what they want to do with that. But it's possible that they could fund part of the project, or they could fund it in future years. So if you're right, and just get in line and see what you want to consider. But that's something you probably should start thinking about. You have that 90. You've committed 5,500, as I understand, to the first year maintenance of the Pocket Park. I got to start calling that Straw Hat Park. I keep calling it the Pocket Park.
Yep, Straw Hat Park. Yep.
But that leaves a balance of 9,500, and the funds that were allocated by town meeting.
Okay,
So think about how you might want to use that.
we'll think about that.
Yeah.
And I think I spoke on the Straw Hat Park. I spoke briefly to Jean Minio, and she suggested they might be planning to do the ribbon cutting before one of our meetings
Yeah,
We're
but
looking at the 21st and doing it at 6:30.
of June.
didn't they change that to July now?
Oh, she changed it.
July.
Yes,
July.
to July. It's going to
Did
be.
not
Yes.
let me
Bring
know.
down the sod, and that has to
Okay.
take a while to.
Okay, all right. So,
Yeah.
the July meeting, okay.
Yeah. There is something, next week the Girl Scouts are having a gazebo
Yes.
on the
Wednesday,
15th.
yeah, Wednesday, yeah.
Is it Wednesday? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Good.
Okay, and then we did get reimbursement from under Chapter 90 funds for the 2 pieces of equipment that
Yeah.
the Highway Department purchased this year. It was a Mack truck and a loader.
Yeah.
So that money came in for that. The remaining 90,000 on the grant for the solar facility came in too. That was originally 180,000, and they had already given us 90.
Okay.
The balance of 90 came in this morning, I believe, or yesterday. Also, we got $17,500, which is a portion, the major portion of the remaining funds for the Energy Manager grant.
Yep, good.
So that grant, there's another, I believe, 8750 remaining in those funds that Andrew is applying for reimbursement on, and that will cover the amount of the grant. And after that, we'll be on our own in terms of the salary.
Mhm.
When Andrew's leaving in a month or two?
The end of July.
End
yeah.
of July,
So
okay.
are we looking?
I am have a call with Fred Bunger and Andrew on Thursday to start figuring out how we're going to handle that. And I've talked to Andrew. Apparently, there are a couple of programs that seem to keep coming to the surface. One is the University of Lowell, and the other is Mass Maritime for facilities management. There may be other schools. I don't know whether
Okay.
Wentworth has anything in it or not. But
Okay.
and I've asked him because he did graduate from the Mass Maritime program, so I asked him to look around, and if he goes to any of these Energy Manager meetings, see if he might find somebody suitable. So we'll see. But it would behoove us to get somebody on board quickly to,
Yeah.
especially
Things have
with
really gone so well. It worked out so good.
yeah.
Bringing Andrew on board.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. That was excellent.
Okay. The housing development plan for the 40B project up on Hospital Road, that was submitted. They Mass Housing has, I believe, 30 days to act on or to schedule a site visit. And local officials are invited to participate in the site visit. So when we hear
Let us
of
know.
a date, we'll let you know in
Okay.
case any of you want to attend. And we'll also let other boards know. They're proposing 48 units.
Mhm.
The prices seem a little bit steep to me on the market units. I think they're up to 690,000 as the top unit. And they're starting at something like 515,000. Were those the figures? I think it was around that, yeah.
They're limited in what they can make.
Well, that's what, we have funds available through the Affordable Housing Committee
Yeah.
to hire a consultant. And we can also ask them to
Yeah.
prepare, what is it, 20% profit they're limited to? So I think we ought to really dig in and make sure that they're not exceeding 20% profit,
Yeah.
and encourage them to keep the prices of the houses down somewhat, the market units.
Yeah. Still a lot of money.
They'll have to submit a pro forma as part of that package. Mass Housing will look at that.
Yeah, the problem I understand is you get no help from the state, and
Well, the problem is that at the end of, first of all, it only kicks in at the end of a project, and the question becomes, when's the project at an end? Number two, municipality has no ability to compel the audit. It's under DHCD,
Yeah.
and they don't have a great track record.
Of auditing, yeah, or even caring about
If
it.
it's an excess, it's supposed to come back to the community to augment local affordable housing.
Doesn't happen.
Of course it doesn't.
Attorney General hasn't been able to get anything back.
That's my point.
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, the planning board sent Superintendent Feeney a letter regarding a condition they put in the
Fencing?
original special permit. And
Get his slats up on his fence.
yes. There's slats in the fence or
Slats in the
something that
fence.
one of the residents
Yeah.
down there wants. I think only one, the others don't want them. So the planning,
I'll send out a letter to everybody.
okay, I think you may end up just having to put them in that one particular house.
I think they ordered us to do it all the way down. But they don't understand the slats that are down there around the sewer station. That was put in by the sewer department. Not part of the highway garage. I'll probably go to the permit building committee and ask for money.
Yeah.
Well, they're meeting tomorrow at 7 a.m. if you'd like to come. Or if you want to stay over.
At the planning board meeting, I said, I will put, if you want additional plantings, I will put them at the property line. And they won't like where the property line is, about 12 feet beyond the fence.
Yeah, they actually 12 feet of their land is on town
I don't
property.
think she's looking for additional plantings, though. I think she's just looking for the slats in the
Slats.
fence that was in the original decision.
Yeah, I think that I still have to ask everybody about it because
Planning board does say plantings.
Do the slats make noise with the wind in them?
Well, my fear is the slats are gonna kill the current trees, and, you know, the hues, whatever they are down.
Oh, yeah, because it'll block the sunlight for them.
Evergreens, the other things that are there, no sun.
Right, yeah,
That's my fear.
yeah.
I asked the tree warden, he said, well, you know, we'll see. Bottom could die off on them, maybe the top of it.
I don't know, yeah.
Okay, we received a letter from a high school student requesting that the town is to public bus service.
Excellent. So,
I don't think that's too likely in the foreseeable future, given our other financial constraints, but
Uber.
Uber, yeah.
yes.
Autonomous Ubers.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's right, that's right.
Yes. We should write and thank him and tell
Yeah.
him, explain to him why it isn't too likely.
We just don't have.
We do have it for seniors, at least, so we address it for that group. So. Senate vote to change housing and zoning laws on June 9th. I sent you this information. This is one of those shocking midnight
Yeah, they do this.
deals that seem to be coming about in the legislature. You know, I talked to our senator and Representative Dooley, and I talked to Amanda from Representative Garlick's office, and they said this came about very suddenly. The legislation has been pending for, you said, 10 years.
Oh.
And
One
they,
permutation or another.
they thought they had reached agreement on reasonable changes that would benefit everyone, and apparently the developers and different groups got in at the last minute and started chucking stuff in. Among the things most troubling is you would be required to allow by right accessory apartments at least up to 5% of your housing stock, which in Medfield would be about 230. So somebody in any part of town
Yep.
could come in and say, I want to put a house accessory apartment in my yard, and it's
That's it.
over 5,000 square feet. I have the right to do it. You must give me a permit, as I understand it. I don't know, you know,
Yeah.
it's just the way this legislation has been
Yeah.
slapped together.
Yeah, any single-family lot on 5,000 square feet or
Or
more,
more. Yeah.
which is pretty much every
Every-
lot in
everything,
Medfield.
Yes, and it would be by right. So, and then there are other things in there that are troubling. You are required to have a master plan, but the master plan can be used as evidence in court proceedings to throw out your bylaws, saying your bylaws are not consistent with the master plan. So the lawyers, sorry, you two guys, lawyers would have a field day with that one. I mean, could you imagine the court case? Three guys, yes. Yeah. Could you imagine the stuff that's going to come out of that?
Now, we don't have, I mean, I looked at it quickly, Mark, you would know this. Is there a defined term for accessory dwelling unit in our zoning code? In our bylaw?
We have two types.
I don't know offhand.
Oh, well.
I looked at it quickly and I didn't see it, but
We've got a hybrid. We've got a family thing, and there's a couple of
And
specific.
there's a historic one for houses over a certain age, accessory apartments, so.
Yeah, we don't have a definition for it. There's a section on whereby the ZBA can grant relief for somebody to have either a family unit.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the intention of it because there's massive demand for what used to be called in-law apartments. That's probably offensive now, but an in-law apartment is what you're talking about.
This has the Greater
Yeah.
Boston Real Estate Board's fingerprints all over it. This was not something, I've been actively involved in drafts of this legislation, which came from land planning originally, but it's somehow morphed into way more economic development type things that have been added on. There was originally, back during the Patrick administration, a push to get municipalities to play ball for development. Some of that has been resurrected and stuck into here. So there is some good stuff in terms of some updating of 48 of zoning and subdivision. It does away with the so-called A&R plans and puts in place what's called a minor subdivision, so you have some control over, instead of just, I've got frontage, I'm going to build, the hell with you. So that's one of the good things, but there's a lot of bad stuff in here too.
Yeah.
My understanding from my conversations today with our legislators is that this is likely to pass in the Senate. But they didn't seem to think it would go anywhere in the House. But you never know. I mean, who thought this was going to come up this suddenly? Right. My understanding is being pushed by, in particular, by two legislators, a guy by the name of Dan Wolf from the Cape, who owns, I think, Cape Air. He was in the papers a couple of years ago because he had to resign from legislature because he was going to be in conflict because the state used Cape Air to fly people out to the vineyard or something. And the other one is a guy by the name of Jamie Eldridge out of Acton, who is, I guess, about as liberal as they come.
Yeah.
He and I went to law school together.
Did they? Did you? Okay. So he's your Donald Trump.
Yes. So.
Yeah, he's really a big push on this one now, I understand. And then I think there's, what's that group's name? The housing that reviews it. CHAPA, housing people, and the real estate board. So there's a lot of special interests that are pouring in on this one. So
interestingly, I know I responded to your query about special permits, and it said they weren't protected from a zoning change. If this passes, they are.
I saw that. I mean, they're definitely in going through this. I mean, I read this afternoon. I mean, you can almost see where the sort of handouts to the developers are stuck in this. I mean, there's a lot of this is sort of innocuous, kind of feel-good stuff, and then you have all the little things that are suddenly stuck into these different places. So, but we have a whole 2 days to look at it, though. So there's plenty of opportunity for public comment to weigh in and think through all the ramifications of all of this stuff. So
that's how these things usually get through. Nobody knows that until it's a fait accompli.
Yeah,
right.
And it's an,
And is the expectation that the governor will sign it if it passes?
The expectation is it won't get to the governor.
Won't get through,
it will die in the House. So,
right.
But who knows? Okay, there's information from the Conservation Commission and information about Norfolk Aggie School. So I guess that's about it.
all right. Make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, one other thing I did want to mention, Ed Barrett, who used to be treasurer, and most of you probably don't even know who he was. He was treasurer about 25, 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away at the age of 94 this week, and there'll be a service, I believe, at the cemetery on the 18th.
Okay.
Memorial service. So.
Yeah, excellent. All righty. Thank you.
You're watching Medfield TV, community shows.